Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Keenan. I'm your host for the TAL Global Perspective. Our topic today is TipNow, which is a threat intelligence platform that was founded by Cyril Ryan, who is also the president and CEO. We think this is a very interesting platform and wanted to showcase it here on our TAL Global Perspective. So with that, I'd like to introduce Cyril Ryan. How you doing, Cyril?
Doing well. Thank you so much for having me on TAL Global Perspectives. It's a great honor.
Well, we're happy to have you, and we're very interested to hear about your platform. So you can tell us a little bit about the history of it and what your product does.
Sure, Mike. Let me give you the background of the founding and why I'm doing TipNow and why I founded TipNow. I used to be a professor at a local university back in 2007. Believe it or not, time has flown. And the iPhones were coming out at that time, and my students, everyone was using texting in a big way. My fellow professors were complaining about $3,000 phone bills because of the texting situation. And that's what gave me the idea. And at that time, Virginia Tech shootings happened in April of 2007. And I really had a great burden to solve that problem to prevent violence on campuses. So I just put two and two together. The texting was taking off in a big way. And the seed idea on my mind was, what if students and staff communicate anonymously about any threats? And that's how the seed idea began. We implemented the product in a very simple manner. It was a minimum viable product, if you will, and piloted it at the university where I was teaching. It went really well, and the rest is history. So that is the story of founding, and really passionate about campus safety because I knew if I continued to be a professor, which I still like to do, but don't have the time, that the violence could happen in my class. And I know, Mike, you are a professor as well. And I think we both can relate to campus violence in addition to all the experience that you bring in your career as well. So that's the story of Tip Now, Mike.
Well, thank you, Cyril. That's very insightful. I do remember when texts first came out. My daughter was one of those ones that created one of those big bills. But anyway, one of the things that I find interesting is you talked about using the text platform, but there's also an anonymity factor in your
Yeah.
product. Can you explain a little bit about that and why that would make it more um, palatable for a student, for example, to want to use this product versus maybe just calling directly?
Yes, I think it's a good question, Mike, about anonymous reporting and why it is important. Typically, research proves that people are interested in reporting suspicious activity, but they don't want to get involved. They don't want to be called a snitch, if you will, but everyone understands the importance of safety. And that's why even DHS slogan became popular. I think it was around that time in 2008 that DHS came up with the see something, say something slogan. And it was not an anonymous concept, but I think the idea of anonymous reporting is important because people don't want to get involved. And we have proven it also by our deployments because I remember one customer, it's a university customer, I'll not name them. They used to have a hotline, which was just a phone call. And it was not, they were not getting any tips throughout the year. And as soon as they implemented Tip Now, they were getting like tens of tips in a week. So that's the difference. It helps the adoption of the product because people feel that, hey, I don't want to get involved, but I still want to report suspicious activity to the law enforcement or to the campus safety director or whoever is handling that.
That's a great perspective, Cyril, because I agree with you 100% that people are reluctant to get involved. but at the same time, by being able to do it anonymously, but also by using the whatever device they might have, as well as the different platforms. Because as you have shared with me, you also can do things beyond texting, right? Not
Yes.
other forms of communication as well, like video.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let me talk a little bit more about the product. That was this initial product that was just texting based anonymous reporting. Now, fast forward so many years, we have built a TipNow Pro app, which not only integrates threat intelligence, but we are covering a lot of aspects, not only prevention, but we are covering up to even emergency management. And let me explain what I mean. So we have integrated a bunch of modules on TipNow Pro. We include a very simple mass notification platform. And I know many others use different platforms, and that's fine. It's all modular, so you can pick and choose. And then in addition to that, we have emergency plans on the app. So any and I think many of the states now require you to have a workplace violence plan accessible and defined, even SB 553 in California. So we can have all the plans for the organization, and even if they have multiple locations on the app, that's one of the modules we have. We are now building out a new module called Web EOC. It's the Emergency Operations Center module. Again, a very simple EOC module. One of the things that we want to bring in our products is simplicity and very simple user interface, and not make it too many bells and whistles. And I think that's one of the problems with some of the products out there, especially even in mass notifications. The simpler the product, it's easier to adopt, it's easier to use, it's more cost effective. To summarize, we have anonymous reporting that gives you threat intelligence, mass notifications, we have emergency plans, and on top of that, Web EOC, which is the Emergency Operations Center. And one of our customers was telling us that for these capabilities, they are using 4 apps. And I think the advantage of working with TipNow is now you get all these functionalities integrated in one app, and that's much easier for adoption, much easier for training, much easier to even use the same product for emergency response. Because what happens is, and I was talking to actually the emergency manager at one of the cities, and we were talking about this, saying if we have a unique product that we use only for emergency management, when the emergency strikes, nobody knows how to log into that product because maybe you have trained on it, but you're not using it consistently. So that's the advantage of using TipNow, because TipNow you're using it on a daily basis to receive threat intelligence, to look at emergency plans if there is an emergency, do mass notifications, and now Web EOC. So that's the advantage of really combining all these features in one integrated app.
That makes perfect sense, Cyril, because everyone is looking for that. Simplicity is one of the key things, and also, user friendliness. And it sounds like your app does both of those things. The other question I have for you is around AI.
Yeah.
You seem to have some creative uses for AI. Can you go into that a little bit?
Sure. So let me first talk about AI within the TipNow Pro platform and the app that I talked about. So we have built a module which can tag threat levels to the tips that are coming in. And there are various ways to report tips: texting, voice, live stream, mobile tips, attach pictures, attach videos, and on and on. And when the tip comes in, we actually analyze the tip using natural language processing and then tag a threat level to it. So that there's a lot of work behind that, but it's automated threat level tagging. And the way it really helps is we all know security personnel are always overloaded and they have a lot of things to do. And if there are tips coming in, they would like to know if it is a high threat level so that they can act on it immediately. So that's the advantage of having the threat level tagging module. So that's one aspect of it. Then we have also partnered with one of the leading products in video analytics in the industry. And our partner is Video. They have one of the broadest platforms in video analytics in the industry. And what we have done is taken that product and deployed it on our own cloud platform. We are partnered with Oracle for the cloud, and we have deployed it there. And what that does is it really reduces the cost for the end customer. Video analytics in back in the day, even 5 years back or 8 years back, is pretty expensive. Even today, it's expensive to deploy on site with a server on site. But if the customers are willing to use the cloud, then the cost per camera for these deployments can go down really much to make it cost effective for them to adopt this technology. So in video analytics, what we are seeing now is the challenge of even weapon detection. We are seeing a lot of challenges in schools, and unfortunately even churches and synagogues. It's unfortunate that we even talk about churches needing security, but that's where we are. And I think weapon detection, intrusion detection, license plate recognition, even object detection, maybe a backpack left behind that is unattended, all those things become critical across the board, whether it's a school or a college or a hospital or a corporate campus, and can be very interesting. And one thought really I feel is, if we combine human threat intelligence and AI threat intelligence, you can really be rest assured that we have done our best to try and prevent violence. Of course, nobody can guarantee that we can prevent violence, but at least we can do everything in our power to have human threat intelligence and AI threat intelligence to do our best to prevent violence.
I agree with everything that you've said, and it sounds like your platform enables you to combine a wide variety of things into one place, and also use existing equipment. You mentioned about cameras, so a company doesn't have to reinvest to be able to fully take advantage of all of the options you have available through your app. So,
Absolutely. I think that's a very good point, Mike. For the video analytics platform, I'm glad you mentioned that. We don't need the customers to buy new cameras. It's basically any camera system that you're using, we can plug in the server on site that can, with an RTMP stream, and it connects to the server on site to analyze the video and give you the alerts using SMS and email, or just connect the IP cameras to our cloud server. And those are the two options to get the video analytics in place for you.
well, that's great. Well, that's certainly a lot of good information, and I appreciate your time today, Cyril. It's been great having you as our guest. And I just want to say to the audience, thank you for listening. And if you want to learn more about TAL Global and our services, please check us out on our website. And until next time, take care.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Mike.
Great to have you, Cyril.